Most people trying to get clients for their Go High Level agency are focusing on the wrong things, spending hours on old strategies that don't move the needle, while there are still plenty of strategies that are working today. Meanwhile, there are a few client acquisition strategies that other people are printing money with that you have no idea exist. Today, I'm gonna rank the best ways to get new clients for your Go High Level agency, all the way from F tier, that makes you feel like you're throwing money away, to S tier, that can make you feel like you're printing money hand over fist. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Clay Lawrence. I'm the owner of Review Harvest. You can see we have 251 reviews here. We help local businesses get more Google reviews. You can see in the last 4 weeks, we made over $51,000. And you can see over all time in 2 different Stripe accounts, we have over 1,000 customers and over 465 customers. So almost 1,500 customers that I've sold and onboarded throughout the day. So I know a thing or two about getting customers. Definitely not the best. I definitely don't know it all. This is just in my experience, and I hope it helps you out. All right, so these are the 15 strategies of getting clients that we're gonna rank. And I'm gonna rank each one of them on entry level, meaning how easy is it to get into getting clients this way. Price, how much does it cost on a consistent basis to run this method? Scalability, how easy is it to go from getting 1 customer a week to 100 customers a week if you scaled it up? And then the number of customers that I have gotten from doing that specific method. Number 1 is cold calling. So cold calling, I've only gotten 2 customers from cold calling. Like I've made videos before in the past, I think cold calling is great. I think it puts hair on your chest, but I don't think it's required. I remember one day I was telling myself I was gonna do cold calling over and over and over again. I was like, I'm gonna call 100 people, I'm gonna call 100 people. And then for a couple days, I made like 100 or 200 calls in a row. I was at the time running a marketing agency for photographers, like way back in the day before Review Harvest. And I was like, it was just kind of how my marketing agency had spun into something. I was like, I'm just helping photographers. Called a lot of people, booked some meetings, did get 2 clients. Actually, I got 1 client from the photographer thing. And then I've gotten 1 client just over the years, I think from like cold calling somebody in traffic. So I'm sure I've gotten 1 more from it. But entry level is beginner friendly, super beginner friendly. Anybody can get into cold calling. Price, it's pretty inexpensive. There are some softwares you can use to basically make it a lot more productive and make you call a lot more people, but literally you could do it for $0. So it's kind of free. In terms of scalability, I would probably give it like a 2 out of 5 because it really is scaling bodies. Like you just need more people, more callers right now. Maybe higher in the future with AI callers. Don't know the legality of that. Like I said, I haven't got a ton of customers with cold calling, but I think one of the best parts of cold calling is you learn rejection, you get thick skin, and you need that kind of in business. It's super beneficial to have that. Plus, you'll learn the objections and you'll hear the language and the lingo they'll talk in. Even though I haven't done a lot because of kind of all the other benefits of cold calling that you're getting, even if you're not getting clients, I'm gonna put cold calling into A tier because there really isn't a lot of people that have been successful in business that didn't go through a serious phase of like outreach and rejection and sales and all that sort of hands-on full contact that cold calling and direct outreach gives you. And so it's a great experience. So I'm gonna put it in A tier. The next one is reaching out to your phone contacts. These are your friends, your family, people that already know, like, and trust you. So in terms of entry level, this is beginner as it gets. When you're getting started, you have no proof, you have no case studies. No matter what service you're selling, you probably are gonna need to find people that already kind of know, like, and trust you to get your foot in the door and get your first client. And so super beginner friendly there. The price is obviously free, assuming you already have a phone and contacts in your phone. Scalability is 1 out of 5 because you kind of would have to scale your network, and also you don't want to just like constantly fatigue kind of the goodwill you have within your own network. I think when you're getting started, I was shameless. I reached out to everybody, but I probably wouldn't want to have to do that every single month, right? You'd probably start to bug people and people would be like, Clay, you know, whatever. In terms of number of customers, these were some of my first 15 to 20 customers. And so I loved this strategy. It helped get my business off the ground at Review Harvest. And for me, I've gotten 15 to 20 customers from this strategy. These are some of the first customers I ever got, and they really allowed me to get Review Harvest off the ground and running. So for me, reaching out to your contacts is probably going to be B tier. The reason being is that it's great for people that are just getting started, but after you do it once, you probably don't want to do it like every single month. The next one is trade shows. So if you don't know what a trade show is, it's basically like a convention where everybody in a certain industry gets together and hangs out for a couple days. They'll have all these booths of vendors that serve these types of businesses, and they'll have offerings for them. They'll normally have speakers, they'll have training, they'll make it a whole event. And what's so powerful about this event is that you can get in front of 100, 200, 1,000 of your ideal customers in less than a couple days. And you can get in front of them face to face, right? So there's a certain value in each sort of interaction, right? If I just post a reel and somebody sees it, it could resonate with them, but it's probably not gonna stick out as much. If I text somebody, if I call someone, we've got a little more interaction there, probably a little more likely to build some trust and move them over to the next stage of the funnel. But the Mac Daddy of them all is face-to-face interaction where you can talk to them, look them in the eyes, and really get to know them. And depending on what industry you're serving, this is more important than others, right? If you're working with a bunch of good old boys who are 50 and 60 years old, this is gonna be so important, right? They're tired of cold calls. They probably don't pay attention too much to their social media. And if you've got to sell old people, getting in front of their face is really important. But in terms of entry level, I would say medium to advanced, because the problem is that these shows can be incredibly expensive. Not just to buy the slot for the booth. Sometimes these slots are $5,000 to $10,000 depending on how good the location and kind of the exhibit is. Also, you have to spend money on the actual booth, right? You probably want to create a custom offer for this specific show to kind of tailor it, make it specific, and make it convert better. You might want to do a giveaway. You might want to get swag. You have to get a whole booth with a big banner and maybe a TV playing like a demo of your product, whatever it is. Depending on how big the show is, you can spend anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000 on these setups. And if you find some of these smaller conventions, you could probably find some where you could get a booth for $1,000 or $2,000, but you're still gonna have to spend a couple of $1,000s on the actual booth with your signs and your logos and your swag and all that sort of stuff. So that's why the price is not super beginner friendly. Also, I think another reason I put it at medium to advanced is because if somebody's never heard of you before, you're probably gonna convert a little bit worse than if you go to an exhibit where most people have seen your ads or seen your content before, because it kind of gives you a little bit easier foot in the door to talk to them. Because people will come up to your booth and say, hey, I've seen you before, hey, I've seen what y'all do. In terms of scalability, I put it at a 3 out of 5 because it's super concentrated in who you're talking to. If you think about it, if you're trying to target the best kitchen remodelers and you go to a kitchen remodeler conference with all these kitchen remodelers and they all spent $500 on tickets and $1,000 to be there for the weekend, you probably have some pretty high quality business owners. And in general, we want to work with high quality business owners, people that have money to solve problems, right? And so that's why I think it has a 3 out of 5 scalability instead of lower, because you do have like all your ideal clients in one spot. And a lot of these industries have 5 to 10 to 15 different shows a year that you could go to and get a decent amount of clients each time. Only problem is a lot of travel, definitely takes people. So that's why it's a 3 out of 5. In terms of number of customers we've gotten from this, we've done kind of 2 trade shows. One was with a company we already did a lot of work for. So we didn't get a lot of new customers, but we did deepen our relationship with those customers by meeting them face to face. The other one was with an industry that we love and we've gotten close with, and we got at least 30 customers from that. I didn't have a booth at that one because booths were so expensive and they weren't really doing a kind of an exhibit show, but I did get to speak on stage. And so getting to speak on stage and kind of give them a little bit of a pitch. And so that was very beneficial. I even did a backflip on stage, actually. Quick interruption here. If you're interested in getting started with high level, feel free to sign up with my link down below in the description. You'll get an extended 30-day trial instead of the normal 14-day trial, and you'll get access to my community with almost 1,000 people doing the same exact thing. We're basically selling super scalable automated services to local business owners for $100 to $500 a month, and you'll be surrounded by hundreds of other people doing the same thing, making life-changing money. In the community, you can hop on 2 weekly coaching calls with me where I'll meet you where you are and help answer any questions you have. And you'll get access to the snapshots, the templates, and everything that I've learned growing my business from 0 to over $50,000 a month in recurring revenue for Review Harvest alone, totally for free, where you can just copy and paste it into your own high-level account. Back to the video. So for the tier of trade shows, I'm gonna take it to C, just because it's a lot of travel, not my personal favorite to have to travel all the time. It's pretty expensive to get into, and you have to have a lot of other things in place before I think you can really maximize it, because you definitely can do these bad where you don't get any customers. Okay, so now let's talk about Facebook DMs. These are bar none one of my favorites because you can get in as a complete beginner, and if you do them right, you can get customers every single day with less than an hour or 2 hours of reaching out. And so go check out that video. I'm not going to go through the whole process. Look at this. This guy's, I can't make this up. This guy's literally responding live. It's free to start. And in terms of scalability, it really only works if you build out your profile. And so if you really wanted to scale it with more people, you'd probably have to build out more profiles to look similar to yours, or get people on your team to build out profiles like you. So it's not the most scalable, but it works so well that I would probably still give it a 3 out of 5, because literally for an hour or 2 hours a day, you can get customers. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, basically we go to these Facebook groups with our ideal clients. We send them these messages like they're a friend of ours, we get them to respond, and then we sell them on our services. I've made multiple videos about this. You can watch this video where I locked myself in my truck until I got a paying client. The strategy I used to get a client in just a couple hours was Facebook DMs. So I've gotten over 100 customers with this strategy. It couples really well with the Facebook group strategies we'll talk about later, because you can build some viral word of mouth in one specific community where you are the go-to business, you're the go-to agency, you're the go-to software for that little small Facebook group. So for the tier for Facebook DMs, we're gonna have to go S tier. I love Facebook DMs. I mean, literally you get to find the decision maker, message them directly, and a lot of times they have these notifications turned on their phone. So literally you are sending a direct notification just like a text to the decision maker's phone. You can't beat that. The next is cold SMS. So this is like low-key illegal, or maybe it's not, kind of a gray area. I did this back in college. I was white labeling high level and I was calling it Pressure Pal for pressure washers. I got all of the pressure washers in Central Florida because that's where I was in college at the time. Scraped that list from Google Maps, put the phone numbers into high level and just blasted out a bunch of texts. Got 2 customers from it. So it obviously worked, but it is kind of illegal, maybe. It's 2 cents per message segment. So it could be 4 cents per text if you're sending out a really long text. In terms of scalability, it's very scalable. Just more numbers, put them in there, 4 to 5. You just keep sending the numbers. You have a good process for converting them into bookings and stuff like that. Then sure, it could totally work, but it is like a gray area. I guess if their phone number is listed, technically you might be able to text them. I don't know. I don't do it anymore because of the whole legal problems there. So for cold SMS, I'm gonna put it at solid C tier, right? Too many question marks there for me. And I'm sure I should have said this earlier, but any of these strategies can work and work incredibly well. I'm just giving, based off my experience, what I know, ranking them on what I would do. Next, we have another banger, referrals. So entry level for referrals is obviously gonna be not beginner because you kind of need some customers first. So once you have like 2 or 3 customers, you can start focusing on referrals, but their ball's really not gonna start rolling until you've got 5, 10, 50, 100 customers. That's when the word of mouth ball can really just sort of take off. And like next thing you know, every single week you're getting bookings on your calendar from referrals. That didn't happen for us until like 150 customers. We're now like, still to this day, we get 2 to 3 calls every single week just with people that are pretty much pre-sold from referrals. And so entry level, I'll put at medium in terms of price, free or incentive, because sometimes you're giving incentive for these referrals. I think if you ask the right way, a lot of times you can get them for free, right? So something I like to say is, hey, just like you, I know you're a business owner that probably relies on word of mouth. Word of mouth is just as important to us. We live and die on it. Who do you know that could use our service? Asking like that, asking for a connection through a 3-way email, connection through a 3-way text, face-to-face after you just had a positive interaction with a client can be super duper important. I wish I could just like automate referrals and just put them on a system where texts and emails go out. But for me, most of the time it's had to be manual. So I'm actually gonna take this scalability down to a 4 out of 5 because the best way to get referrals in my experience has been face-to-face asking for them, right? And so number of customers, we've gotten 300 plus customers from this, easy peasy, no doubt about it. And so referrals is gonna have to be a super hard tier for me. If you can crack referrals, your business will grow day in, day out without you having to dump money into ads and marketing every single month. The next strategy is Instagram DMs. Entry level, obviously beginner. Anybody with an Instagram account can do this. This is obviously free, but in terms of scalability, I'll put it at 2 out of 5 because Instagram does limit the number of DMs you send a day. And I've probably only gotten 5 customers from Instagram DMs. Transparently, when I used to be on Instagram, back in the day when I was struggling and grinding, I would just be sitting on the, the porcelain throne, and instead of scrolling, I would try to send out DMs. And so I got a couple customers from there. I actually landed our biggest client ever from Instagram DMs. So there is that. That was more of a luck thing. For the most part, Instagram DMs to me is a lot less targeted than Facebook DMs, right? Facebook DMs, if you're doing it right from a group that you know is full of decision makers, you can get the business owner time out. A lot of times these business owners have an Instagram account for their personal account, and then they have a business Instagram account, right? And on Facebook Messenger, their personal account is normally the one that's added to that Facebook group, right? And so you're messaging their personal account. With Instagram, it's harder to find the personal accounts, so it's a little bit more spray and pray. Not my favorite. I would have to get Instagram DMs, D tier. Not a huge fan of them at all. All right, next we have meta ads. So this is running ads on Facebook and Instagram to try and get more customers, whether you're trying to get them to book a call, whether you're trying to get them to sign up directly, whatever it is. Entry level, I would say beginner to medium. If you're just doing a basic book a call funnel or you're running them to lead form ads, you can get started technically with as little as $1 a day. I would recommend probably the lowest you'd want to spend on Facebook ads is like $300 to $500 a month. That's probably like real entry level nowadays, I would imagine. But Facebook will steal your money. If you don't set them up right, like you will burn cash. You honestly just need to expect to burn cash in the beginning so you can learn. That sucks. In terms of scalability, I mean, you literally just change the number in the dashboard. If something's working, you can just slowly scale it up to where now you're booking 20, 30 calls a day, whatever it is, if you figured out a system that works. One great example of this is Kai Stone. Kai Stone and them, they're spending like $70, $80, $90,000 a month on Facebook ads, and they are taking off like a rocket ship. I think last time I checked, they're doing like $310,000 a month with websites and their Go High Level offer. And it's because Kai's an incredible advertiser, and he does great with their Facebook ads and stuff like that. And also Michael on the back end of their business is obviously very intelligent. And so they are blowing up with Facebook ads. We've gotten over 400 customers from Facebook ads. I have a love-hate relationship with Meta ads because I have really struggled to crack them, and the times when I felt like I've cracked them, like I made a video about how I got 100 customers in 90 days from Facebook ads, spent like $11,000, got 113 customers. Our lifetime value of a customer is well over $1,500. So an incredible return. And then like literally as soon as I made that video and posted it, I don't know what happened, but it just like, Facebook ads just wet the bed for us. And so I've still been trying to figure out how to get it back live and working well for us now. So I have a love-hate relationship with them, but you cannot underestimate the power of just being able to scale them up when you find something that's working. So I would say high risk, high reward, but I would have to put it in A tier. I think it is, once again, high risk. Facebook will steal your money and they are getting more expensive. They'll always get more expensive, but definitely a solid option to really get some scale in your business once you kind of crack your process. But one thing I really want to emphasize in terms of scalability, if you're just getting started and you have 0 clients or 5 clients, do not worry about the scalability. Do whatever's gonna give you the best chance of getting your first customers right now. For me, that is always Facebook DMs, like I talked about, local networking groups that we're about to talk about now, and reaching out to your phone contacts. Those are tried and true methods to get your first client. So with that, let's dive into local networking groups. Entry level, beginner, anybody can go join their Chamber of Commerce, look on Facebook for some local business networking events and show up. Pricing is free for some events. So sometimes I think the Chamber of Commerce to join normally costs like $200 to $300 depending on what level you're joining at. And then if you wanted to join like a BNI group where you can be like the only marketing company in there to kind of serve all the other companies, and you kind of, it's like a referral network. I think it's like $700 to $800 a year. Last time I checked with BNI like gives me weird vibes, but it definitely works. For me, it's just like people begging for business instead of deserving it. But I get that there's more to it than that. But anyways, off with that tangent. Local networking groups are great. I definitely got over 15 customers from local networking groups back in the day. I joined the Chamber of Commerce. I went to BNI meetings. I went to free business events wherever I could go to try and talk to people, shake hands, kiss babies. I did it a lot more when I was running an agency because every customer to me could be worth $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 per month, which was super valuable. As I kind of got into Review Harvest, where I was just selling services for $100 to $300 a month, just helping them get Google reviews, your customer lifetime value goes down a little bit there, obviously, and each client is worth a little bit less to you. So not the best way to really, really grow and expand, but technically you could scale it. Like you could have somebody else go to the events for you. You could have other people in other locations go to the events for you. And so scalability, I'd put it as 2 out of 5. But overall, local networking groups, it really depends on your area and just like how willing you are to go out and talk to people. But like I said, being there face-to-face with people is really, really powerful. And so I would probably have to add local networking groups to B tier just because it's a great place to get your first clients. Like it's a really, really good place if you're struggling to get 1 or 2 people and you just want to get this thing off the ground. Going to local networking groups can build a lot of trust because you can be there face-to-face. And so it's almost like trade shows, but it's way less expensive and you can get there face-to-face. It's just less scalable because normally you're at basically a business event that's really scattered, might not have all your ideal clients there. The next is Facebook group posts. And so I haven't done a lot of this. Normally my approach to these Facebook groups is to let other people post about you and share about you and rave about you while we kind of like silently get the leaders of the group, the admin of the group, all that we get them great results with our service and then let them do the talking for us. You can do these things in Facebook groups where you do like raise hand posts where it's basically like, hey, who would be interested in letting me do some research on their business, or ask who would be interested in a new site. Are you trying to get them to express interest in something? Then you DM them. I've done that before. I would do like value posts. So I would just be like, hey, here's how to get Google reviews removed. Here's how to get Google reviews back if some of the real ones go missing, stuff like that. So I definitely got customers from people commenting and saying, oh my gosh, this is so great. And in those videos, I would normally say, hey, reach out to us if you want some more reviews. So scalability wise, I would probably say 4 to 5 because eventually if you're posting all these groups, you're probably going to get kicked out of them or you're going to get a bad rap if you just keep posting. And so you probably want to own the group. That'd be a more scalable way to do it, I would say. But 4 out of 5 because you can make a lot of posts and you can make posts in massive groups. And so, like I said, price, totally free. We've gotten 10 customers from it. So for Facebook group posts, I would probably put those in D and C tier here. Once again, the only reason is because you have to be careful with it. You could get kicked from the group and it could just like come off as spammy. And so you have to be a little bit, I like other people posting about us, and that kind of goes into the referral side of things. All right, the next tier is voicemail drops. Transparently, I've never done this before, but I thought they were worth adding because I know people have seen success with them, at least on a smaller scale. So technically, anybody with a high-level account and a verified phone number, I can do this, so I'd say it's beginner friendly. Pricing comes out to about 2 cents per message or per minute, actually. And then scalability, I'd say 5 out of 5. Once again, if you can get phone numbers, you're good to go. You kind of need to question the legality of this. Once again, I think it's a little bit of a gray area, but I think the best way to do this is basically voicemail, make them an offer, and then they start calling back and you start selling them or getting them on a call. Like, you're not just gonna get them to give you your credit card after them listening to the voicemail, obviously. The voicemail is just kind of a little bit of an interruption to get them to start calling you. And so that's how I've seen people do it well. I think Jasper Aiken, who does websites, has done voicemail drops. Just because of my lack of experience, and since it is, I would imagine it's beginner friendly, I'm probably gonna put this at D tier as well down here with Instagram DMs. Just not super familiar with them. All right, the next one is going door to door with businesses and trying to sell them that way. So I've actually done this before. I've done this once before going out to Utah and doing it with Keaton Walker for a video, and I did it with Keaton Walker. And while we did it, we did get a client. So I got one client doing it, but I hated it. It sucked. It's awful. It's so awful. Especially because like our main client we work with at Review Harvest is home services. They're not used to people just walking in on them. And then all the other retail stuff, I'm not used to like selling them. And so entry level, technically anybody can do it, right? Price is just gas money driving around town unless you've got a nice e-bike or something. So it's pretty much free. Scalability, 1 out of 5. Like you got we probably walked into 20 to 30 businesses a day, and it took us 2 hours to do that. I mean, I can reach out to a lot of people on Facebook Messenger or cold calling or whatever in 2 to 3 hours. Basically we went to 30 businesses, and a lot of times, I'd say 7 times out of 10, we weren't even talking to the business owner. And so if you cold call, you can be cold calling 10 people at once, waiting for somebody to pick up, and then like answering the one call that picks up, and you can do that for hours and get way more done than we were doing. So it's just not my favorite way to do it. I think if you're selling something that's super high ticket and you had a great process at doing it, it could probably work because you still do have that face-to-face interaction that I think is really valuable nowadays. But for door-to-door, selling businesses, I'm gonna have to go F tier. Sorry, Keaton. I know we made the video. I know we sold a client. It was pretty good. But yeah, no way. We've got 3 left here. The next one is short form content. So entry level here, I would say beginner. Obviously, anybody can grab their phone, create a video. Price, totally free. That's a great part of it. Scalability, I put it at a 4 out of 5 because you have to create videos, and you have to create more and more videos. And you can repost these videos 3 months later or whatever, but for the most part, these short form videos don't get the long-term views that long-form content does. And in terms of like the downside to this, probably should have had a time horizon. Like it takes a while to get this started, right? Like you're not just gonna start posting like 1 video a day for a month and you're not gonna just start getting a bunch of customers. You might start to get some, but for us, it's taken honestly 6 months of posting every single day, where now we're consistently getting customers from Facebook, Instagram Reels, YouTube Reels, all that sort of stuff consistently for Review Harvest. We've definitely gotten well over 50 customers from short form content. And so I would have to put short form content at, I'm gonna go A tier. The only reason I'm going this high is because nowadays you need short form content for meta ads anyway, right? This short form content is not only gonna be helping you get more customers, but you're also gonna be able to use it for your ads, and you can use it for your website and stuff like that. The next one is similar, but it's long form content. So we're talking about 4 to 10 or 20-minute videos on YouTube where you can go in depth and provide a lot of value to your ideal customer, right? It's beginner friendly, so anybody can just record this on their phone or get Loom on their computer, walk through a presentation. It's totally free to upload to YouTube. Scalability, I would say 5 out of 5, although it does take some time to make a video, polish it up a little bit, maybe do some rough edits. You don't need an editor or anything fancy in the beginning. Great thing about these YouTube videos is if you're going after a very specific industry, you can put those specific keywords in that YouTube title, and it might get 5 views a week for the next 5 years. But those 5 views are probably from your very specific client avatar, because if you said, hey, this is how pet sitters can rank on Google, if you're a pet sitter, you're probably gonna watch that. So we've gotten over 75 customers from our long form content. If you're curious on how to execute this in a super scalable way where it only takes about an hour or 2 hours per week to do it, check out this other video talking about the podcast system that doubled our MRR. This was the content piece, because what happens with this content is that you get your ads, you get your video testimonials for your website, right? Your clients start to trust you more. You get the opportunity to get upsells. You get the opportunity to get more referrals because you're face-to-face and they just raved about your clients. So it does so much more than just gets the content. And so I would say long-form content, since it lasts forever and long-form content builds a lot more trust than short-form content, I'm gonna go A tier still. I wanted to go S tier. The only problem with S tier is that long-form content takes a long time to start, right? Facebook DMs, you can start getting results very quickly. Cold calling, you get results quickly, but it doesn't scale as well as long-form content. So I'm gonna put it at A tier. I kind of want to move it up to S tier, but we'll leave it there for now. Like I said, it takes a while to get going, but it's super powerful once you get it going, because if somebody's watched 20, 30 minutes, an hour or 2 hours of your content and they show up to the sales call, they are very, very warm and they'll be pretty easy to close most of the time. And the very last one, local cold outreach. I talk about it all the time. Start local, start local, start local, start local. It's beginner friendly. It costs $0. Not super scalable, but it doesn't matter because you want to do this in the beginning. And if you are charging a couple $1,000s a month per client, then you don't need a lot of customers, right? And so I've gotten over 25 customers this way. It's how we grew in the early days. I'd probably say 25 out of our first 100 customers were from local cold outreach. I was basically going to Google, finding out who had bad reviews, texting the business owner, like the business owner phone number, sending them a Facebook DM, sending them an email, hitting them up on all different angles if I knew we could serve them well. But saying, hey, I saw that crazy review by Sally. We reported it for you. We actually have a system to help people get more Google reviews to rank higher on Google. Would you mind just giving us some feedback on it? I'd love to set it up for you for free. Something like that, super simple. I got a lot of customers do it that way. The reason being is in the beginning, once again, you don't have proof, you don't have any trust, you don't have any reviews or case studies. And so if you meet with somebody face-to-face at a coffee shop, if y'all go to the same church, y'all have the same friends and family, whatever it is, you have that local trust inherently. And so every single metric in your business will be better. They'll show up to meetings more, they'll close easier, they'll last longer because they are local. So 10 out of 10 recommend local cold outreach. I would probably put local cold outreach. It's not super scalable, so I can't go tier, but it's definitely better than local networking groups and reaching out to your contacts. It's a little bit more scalable than reaching out. Nope, I'm gonna put it at B. It's not really more scalable than reaching out to your contacts because, once again, if your local area is small, then. But if you live in a really big area, like 100,000 plus people, and you reach out to a lot of people, then I would go here. But in my area, it's like less than 15,000 year-round residents. So here's kind of what I stumbled on. Poor E. Nobody's got any E. Let's just drag it down to E. Instagram DMs. Let's make this even. There we go. Yeah, Instagram DMs. Yeah, I hate them. But that's the ranking. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to watch me lock myself in my truck until I get a paying customer, like I was a beginner, I don't use any of my testimonials or anything like that. This video is all about Facebook DMs and Facebook groups. Check this next video out here.